Static crackles, followed by the sound of a distorted bass riff. A revving motorcycle engine roars, blending into police sirens wailing in the distance. A voice, gritty, rebellious, and full of attitude, cuts through the chaos. Live from the underground, where the amps are loud, the beers are warm, and the rules don't apply. This is Anarchy Airwaves, the only podcast that turns the volume up to 11 and smashes the dial. Tonight, we bring you the most brutal, blood-soaked battle in punk rock history. A fight so savage, so relentless, that only one will walk away. In the left corner, straight from the streets of Scotland, the leather-clad chaos merchants, the exploited. And in the right, the Bay Area brawlers with basslines that can kill. Rancid. Who will survive? Who will fall? And who will be left standing when the smoke clears? There's no rules, no mercy, and no escape. Grab your spikes, lace up your boots, and get ready for the most hardcore fight in punk history. This is Anarchy Airwaves. Let the fight begin. Mortal Kombat. Punk bloodbath. The scene opens in a grimy, abandoned warehouse with flickering fluorescent lights. Graffiti-covered walls display slogans like "Punk's Not Dead" and "East Bay Destroy." A circle of flames erupts around the center, signaling the beginning of the ultimate punk showdown. The exploited and Rancid step forward, sneering at each other. At the announcer's call, the mayhem begins. Round 1. Waddy Buchan vs. Lars Fredriksson fight. Waddy Buchan, the mohawked Scottish madman, charges at Lars, swinging a rusted chain. Lars sidesteps, pulls out a broken beer bottle, and slashes across Waddy's chest. Waddy roars and headbutts Lars, sending him staggering back. Blood trickles down Lars' forehead, but he grins. "Lars, that all you got, old man?" Lars drop-kicks Waddy into a pile of debris, impaling him on a jagged metal pipe. Waddy spits blood, laughing maniacally. "Waddy, you think this kills me? Punk's not." Lars cuts him off by stomping on his head, forcing the pipe deeper into his torso. Waddy twitches violently before going limp. Fatality. Round 2. Wooly Buchan vs. Tim Armstrong. Wooly, the exploited drummer, pulls out a pair of drumsticks, spinning them like batons. "Wooly, you ain't leaving air alive, Armstrong." Tim, half mumbling as always, cracks his knuckles. "Tim, let's see what you got, mate." Wooly swings fast, cracking Tim in the ribs with brutal force. Tim stumbles but retaliates by grabbing a rusty microphone cord, whipping it around Wooly's throat. Wooly struggles, gasping for air as Tim tightens the noose. "Tim, time to cut the beat." With a sharp yank, Tim rips Wooly's head clean off. The body collapses as the severed head bounces onto the floor. Fatality. Round 3. Gary MC Cormack vs. Brandon Steinecker. Gary, the bassist of the Exploited, flexes his muscles and smashes his bass guitar into the ground, sending splinters flying. Brandon, the drummer of Rancid, tightens his gloves. "Brandon, should have stayed in Scotland, mate." Gary rushes in, grabbing Brandon by the throat and lifting him into the air. Brandon gasps, eyes wide. "Gary, punk's like you got no spine." Brandon pulls out a pair of drumsticks and jams them into Gary's ears. Gary howls in agony as blood spurts from his head. Brandon lands and delivers a spinning roundhouse kick, knocking Gary's head clean off. Fatality. Final round. Matt Freeman vs. the Exploited. The last remaining member, guitarist Carl Morris, steps forward, brandishing his guitar like a battle axe. Matt Freeman rolls the shoulders, cracking his neck. "Matt, this won't take long." Carl swings, but Matt catches the guitar mid-swing and shatters it with his bare hands. He then uppercuts Carl, launching him into the air. As Carl falls, Matt pulls out his bass and strums a single, devastating note. Carl's body vibrates uncontrollably before his head explodes from the sheer force of Matt's bassline. Fatality. Betrayal. Matt Freeman vs. Rancid. Lars, Tim, and Brandon stare at Matt, stunned. Lars, "Damn, man, you didn't have to go that hard." Matt tightens his grip on his bass, his eyes glowing with a savage intensity. "Matt, I'm not done yet." Before anyone can react, Matt swings his bass at Brandon, caving in his skull. Brandon's body drops lifelessly to the floor. Tim stumbles back, hands up. "Tim, Matt, what the hell, man? We won." Matt grabs Tim by the throat and lifts him into the air. He then plays a rapid, thunderous bass solo. The vibrations cause Tim's entire body to implode, his guts spraying across the warehouse. Lars, now the only survivor, takes a fighting stance. "Lars, So that's how it is? Matt lunges forward, impaling Lars through the chest with the headstock of his base. He lifts Lars into the air before snapping his body in half like a broken guitar string. Fatality. Matt Freeman wins. Flawless victory. Aftermath. A new band rises. Matt, covered in blood, walks out of the burning warehouse. The night air is crisp. A shadowy figure steps out from the alleyway. Jesse Micheals. Damn. Matt, you went all out. Matt nods, wiping blood from his base. Matt, time to start over. Let's make something real. Jesse smirks, shaking Matt's hand. Together, they walk into the neon-lit streets, forming the deadliest punk band the world has ever seen. Finish him. Punk rebirth initiated. And that's a wrap on the most savage, blood-drenched, no-holds-barred punk battle you'll ever hear. The streets are littered with broken guitars, shattered dreams, and one hell of a victorious bassline. Matt Freeman walks away the last man standing, but not without paying a price. The fight's over, but the anarchy rages on. Who's next? Who will dare step into the ring? We'll be back with more chaos, more carnage, and more of the punk world you've come to love and fear. This was Anarchy Airwaves. Tune in next week, if you dare. Until then, keep the rebellion loud and the spirits higher than your amp. Stay pissed, stay loud, and most of all, stay punk. See you on the other side.